I've reached a bit of a milestone in the ownership of my Ford Maverick Hybrid because we're just about at 6,000 miles into the journey. I thought that was a pretty good time to share with you the things that I've most enjoyed about this truck and the things that I wish were different. So maybe you have a Maverick, or maybe you're in the market for a Maverick Hybrid. Whatever the case may be, stick around and we'll share some early owner impressions from this pretty cool vehicle. Straight ahead. Hello friends, Bill here from Bill's Reviews and Tech Tips. I hope you'll forgive me for not making direct eye contact with you, but I'm focused on the highway ahead of me as I take a couple of minutes to share with you some of my early impressions now that I'm 6,000 miles in to my journey with this 2025 Ford Maverick Hybrid. Thought we'd hit some of the highlights of the things that I love the most and the things that I wish were different, so that for those of you who are in the market for a Maverick Hybrid, maybe this will help you along the way. And unlike many of the videos we do here, I don't have a promo code. I can't get you a discount on the Maverick. And in fact, I believe it's one of the hottest, most in-demand vehicles in America. Motor Trend named it their truck of the year, and I can see why. So let me first of all hit the highlights of the things that I love about the Maverick. Number one, at the top of my list, I love the technology involved with this hybrid setup, where it seamlessly switches from using fuel to using the electric side, and you don't hear a click, you don't have to do anything. There's no plugging in to charge anything, and in this uniquely proprietary technology, when you apply the brake, it actually charges the battery. I don't pretend to understand how that works. I'm not an engineer, but it's pretty cool. And I guess you could put down item number two on the things I love about this truck. Since the temperatures have warmed up, now it's late May as I'm recording this, and I got this thing back in November. Now that the temperatures have increased, so has my mileage. And I've been very careful to keep an eye on every time I fill up, I reset one of the trip odometers so I can see how much mileage I got out of a particular tank, how closely it matches the projected mileage at the time of filling up, and starting to learn more about this unique calculation between the distance till empty number and the actual fuel gauge, because those things don't always move in sync with each other. Having said that, back in the wintertime, I was averaging probably around 29 to 31 miles per gallon. I wasn't doing as much highway driving in the wintertime as I do in the summer because of the job that I have. So that was a little bit disappointing actually in the winter. I thought it was going to be much higher than that. And then I started to learn more about how climate can impact the electrical side of this calculation. So now, as I drive right now, it's 85 degrees in late May, and I just filled up a little bit ago, and as I'm kind of moving down the highway, mileage isn't quite as good as it will be when I'm around town, but I'm going to average somewhere around 36 to 38 miles per gallon. I like that. Now, I have seen other hybrid owners stipulate that they're getting in the 40s for their average miles per gallon. I have not experienced that in any case whatsoever, even when driving around town. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing something or doing something wrong, but I'm still pretty impressed. Anytime I can average in the mid-30s, that's pretty good. Number three on the list of things I love about this Maverick Hybrid, it is way more spacious in this cab and in the back than I thought it was going to be. This is a small truck. You know, I have some of my friends that have the big dualies. I think they could probably fit a helicopter in the back of their vehicles. This, and they kind of chuckle at me when I say, hey, could you help me move some stuff because I don't have a big truck, and they kind of pat me on the head and, oh, your cute little truck. It is a cute little truck. I am not one who's hauling large loads of anything. I'm not towing a ski boat behind this thing, although it has a tow package. But for what it is, which I believe is a truck built on the old Escape frame, there's a lot more room in here than most people think. First of all, here in the cab, I've got ample room for myself, and I'm 6'5", 230. My head is nowhere close to the ceiling. I've got plenty of leg room. Now, I will say, you probably don't want to be sitting in the seat behind me. That's going to be a little bit tight for most anybody unless you're a child. But as far as my comfort level in the passenger seat goes, very, very roomy vehicle. Even better yet, one of my big concerns when I first got the Maverick was the bed and how much cargo I would be able to hold. I host and produce a television show and radio program, and so I'm often hauling around gear related to all of that. I have a full crew that goes with me. They don't all travel in this truck, but we're meeting at our various destinations that we're featuring. So in the back here, I was kind of concerned that I wouldn't be able to fit all of the elements that I need, and that would kind of defeat the purpose of making the change from the vehicle I did have, which was an Escape. This bed has been perfectly sized, perfectly suited for what we do and for what I need it to be. I added a cover to it. In fact, I'll put a link to the Work Sport cover in the description below, because that has proven to be really helpful and very, very convenient and quite secure, which is also another element of what you want as an owner when you're putting valuable things in the back of your truck. So we love the mileage, we love the technology, we love the spaciousness and the ability to haul cargo back there. Number 4 on my list of things that I really like about this Maverick, this might sound kind of goofy, it really looks good. There's a cool profile to this car. I can't tell you how many compliments I have received from people just walking up, taking a look and saying, man, that is a sharp vehicle. I don't really lose a lot of sleep over whether or not somebody else likes the way my vehicle looks, or for that matter, whether they like the way I look or what I'm wearing. And I've spent 40 years in the media, so I'm accustomed to the fact that there are negative people in pretty much every direction you turn. But it's kind of nice to see people who know vehicles take a look at the Maverick and say, man, that thing's pretty sharp. It looks really good. So I like that part of it. Next up on the list of things I really like about the Maverick is the internal user interface. Everything is well laid out, well thought out, easily accessible, and customizable so that you can really have this screen, which is quite sizable, you can really have it looking and interacting with you in ways that you choose that are convenient for you. There are some things that I wish I could deactivate or turn off completely. That's not the case, but I am able to configure widgets and screens and make sure that I'm most frequently and easily accessing the things that are most important to me. So I really like that as well. The list of things that are positives about this vehicle is probably longer than what I'm recalling off the top of my head right now. But let me go now to a shorter list of things that I wish were a little bit different. All right, so here we go. Number 1, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy that this vehicle, this is the Maverick Hybrid Lariat package. At the time that I bought it, it was the literal top of the line of what they offered in the Maverick. And somehow, I don't know who the geniuses were at Ford Motor Company who got in the conference room and said, I don't know, do you think we ought to put the seat position memory buttons in here? And somebody said, nah, we don't need that. There are vehicles that are 10 years older on the road that have those seat memory position buttons. I can't figure out for the life of me why they didn't put them in here. There are multiple drivers of this vehicle, and that would just be such a no-brainer, especially for one that is so heavily geared up with everything else. It's a power seat, so it's not like they'd have to be adding a whole lot of additional hardware in here. So that's oversight number 1, frustration number 1. Number 2, again, this is kind of a first world problem, and I completely understand why you might roll your eyes at me when I say this. But again, there are vehicles that are 10, maybe 12 years old that have garage door remote buttons already mounted in the vehicle. Not this one. Again, cannot for the life of me figure out why. It's just the dumbest oversight or intentional deletion that I could possibly think of. And it's just another one of those conveniences that when you're spending the money for the premium version of this Maverick Hybrid, I really didn't even think to ask about those things because I just assumed they would be there, and they're not. So that's really quite strange. Third thing on the list that I wish was different about the Hybrid, I do wish that the passenger seat was a power seat. It's not a big deal, but I don't often have a passenger in here, but when I do, they're kind of surprised that it's a manually operated seat. And number 4 on the list of things that I wish were different in the Maverick Hybrid, and they will probably get this fixed in the near future, maybe even with a firmware update that I'll be able to download, the calculation of distance till empty. I know there's so many variables in it depending on the speed that I'm going to drive and the demand that's put on the vehicle, but what we have right now is kind of a guessing game. There are times when that distance till empty measurement at the bottom of your screen will actually increase. So you might go from 380 miles till empty, and all of a sudden you look up, it'll be like 410. And knowing that no gremlin came and put fuel in my vehicle, I'm like, what in the world's happened? Well, it was because I was driving more on electric. And then I have to watch the fuel gauge on the right side. That's the one you really want to go by to keep from running out of gas. My guess would be that as this technology develops and they collect more data from different drivers and more opinions from different drivers, they will tighten that up so there aren't so many variances, and you can be filled with a little more confidence as to the mileage per tank and the miles per gallon that you're getting, because that really does fluctuate quite widely. Having said all that, overall, from top to bottom, from A to Z, if I were invited to make this purchase again, I would do it in a heartbeat. This vehicle is wonderful. I hope it continues to be that way, even with the things that I wish were different in it. It is still, on the net, it is still a fantastic vehicle, and for those of you who are out looking for one, highly recommend you give it a try. I think you'll be quite pleased with it. Now, if this review has been helpful for you at all, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and join us on Bill's Reviews and Tech Tips. We are often reviewing things that have nothing to do with vehicles. We're covering kind of everything in the scope of life, but nothing has been more popular in our short history than conversations about this particular vehicle. So if you'll hit subscribe and we do some more Maverick talk, you'll be the first to know. Thanks for joining us. Happy driving, safe driving. Again, no eye contact. Keep your eyes on the road. We'll see you next time on Bill's Reviews and Tech Tips.